Hello, everyone. It's me, Quest Crunchers, and today we're going to be talking about Fable. Now, looking at the graphics of this game, I want to start there. The graphics of this game look so cool. This is exactly. Funny thing is, it's kind of what I wanted from Dragon Age, but like Dragon Age and Fable have seemed to switch their art designs because Fable was a bit cartoony, but like Dragon Age was, like realistic, kind of grungy, kind of aesthetic kind of thing, and they seem to switched. So I'm like, okay, a bit weird, but it's overall, I'm loving the style of this game. I think there's a lot that I'm looking forward to within this game, but then there's like is it gonna be a voice protagonist? I don't particularly want a voice protagonist. I want to be the hero of this story. I'm role playing as a hero, and this is the story that I make, the choices I make as a hero within this. And with that role playing, you kind of like I could be a really bad guy, I could be a really good guy. You know, oh, I can be a woman. Oh, I can be a bloke, kind of thing. Oh, I can change my hairstyles. I can have a beard when I'm a woman. It's great. That's Fable to me and it's funny and fun. But if they stick to, if you end up having just one, just this static player character, when it's a third person, there's a lot of tension drawn to our character and how they react and stuff. I'm very worried that it's gonna be, you're role playing this hero that has a name, is specifically assigned gender, facial looking, and stuff like that, and hair. And I'm just like, come on, that's not Fable. In Fable 2, you could change all that. In Fable 1, you could change aspects of that. You'd played as a bloke, but come on, Fable 2 had it, and they really built upon that. And like Fable 3, you could change a lot of things, tattoos and everything. And, it's just like, come on, it's what I want. Fable is so cool and stuff, but if you make it like a set in stone kind of character that you're playing this hero and stuff like that, and the player can't project their own personality onto that hero. Yes, it's okay having a little sentence here and there, but if they go on off like on a monologue or anything, it's just like no. The whole point was like we're the voice in the head of the hero, and that's what they sound like, and they are us. We roleplay as a hero. That's the special thing about Fable. We, the player, roleplay as our hero. So it's still us, but it's in a game kind of thing. Like, or you could roleplay. Oh, got to be a really horrible person in this one. You roleplay as a bad hero or an evil hero, but it's still like you at the end of the day because your character doesn't particularly say anything just like if he gets hit and stuff, or sound effects when he's doing like his little emoticons and stuff like that. Not emoticons, like emotes and stuff to people. And it's still like it's very player focused, and that was the whole kind of thing in Fable to be able to do and kind of act how you wanted and stuff. That was the whole thing. It was your choice. You're the hero. But if they take us away from that, I'll be very annoyed. I don't want to play an established character because I'm not gonna lie, games like that I have played, like The Witcher, I play as established, Geralt. I've read the books, I've seen that stuff, so I kind of play as Geralt. But since completing it, I haven't gone back to play the different parts because in my way, I have played the game to its fullest extent because I know how Geralt acts and know how it talks through the story and the previous games. So I'm like, yeah, that's done. That's a one done story. Whereas if it's like my own individual hero, I can change that up quite drastically and make it way more replayable. And if there's choices and stuff, I can make different choices. I can act different ways. That's the whole thing about Fable. There are decisions within quests like you can make terrible, horrible decisions, and you can make good, really great decisions. And that's the whole special thing about Fable that I found enchanting, and how you can treat people and stuff by like what you do, making silly things, and stuff like that, telling them to follow you and go and sacrifice them at some horrible place. But still, it was special in that way. And being a good guy or being a bad guy, or it's just it made it so special to you. It made it replayable. Whereas like I feel like with static characters within this kind of world, for me as a player, it doesn't make me want to go back once I've kind of made those decisions because I feel like they're the best for that particular character. Whereas I feel like going back in Fable, I can go back and be a right horrible person. I could be an even greater person making better decisions because I know the kind of outcomes of the quest and stuff after playing it. So it's just like, yeah, if it's like that, that'll be absolutely fantastic and great. But if it's not, then it's it might lose me completely, unfortunately. Because that's why I play Bethesda games. Why Bethesda games are so great because you are that person in that world. You play as that person in that world. That's why that's why it's so cool. I feel like custom characters, are, for like player choice and stuff, are just better than you know established characters that you play as. Also, well, that kind of depends on the game, to be honest. Like playing as like Marcus Phoenix and stuff is like fantastic. But it's a linear story from A to B. There isn't choices. It's just a shooter, and it's a different type of experience. So that's where it works. But if it's like an open world RPG and characters and decisions and stuff like that, the whole point is for you to be a black slate to insert the player into that world, and then the characters around the player sort of influence the story and move the story along and stuff. That's where it works. Whereas if you make the player character as like a well, that's where it doesn't work for me with The Witcher. That's why I haven't got back to it because once I've played it and got to the end, I replayed it loads of times. But the reason why I don't play it anymore, even when it's like at its big next gen update and all that stuff, is because I with Geralt, for some reason I only play a certain way because it's correct with the character. Because I've read the books and stuff like that. I've listened to the books and stuff, so it kind of works that way for me. That I'm honoring the character, playing the character the way, and there's it's I don't feel like making all the horrible decisions and stuff with that character because it seems out of character, so it doesn't work. It has a negative sort of connotation to me, and it's not gratifying as a game. Whereas if I make all the correct decisions that the character would make, it works. But it only has like a one shot kind of thing, maybe two shots. I played it twice when the some DLC. Well, I played it the same character as the DLC came out after the game kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, it kind of works. But I haven't played it kind of since because I like that's the story that's concluded, that's done for me, that's that character done, and I don't want to go back to it, kind of thing. Whereas like I said, with Bethesda games, you can keep going back to it because that's your character. You can decide how you're going to be in that world. And with Fable, it's very the same. Apart from the first one, you were stuck as a predefined character, but then they started changing it. You could be a boy or a girl within the second fit trailer, within the second game, and that worked for me. That made it much more better, so I can choose what I want to be and who I want to be, kind of thing, and it worked. And if they don't do it for this one, it won't work. I have a sneaky feeling that it's just the marketing for this game. They're pushing, the female character, and that's what they're gonna do. But fingers crossed, they will do. Um, a male equivalent that has like a few voice lines here and there, like the female one. If they don't, I'll be very disappointed because it's I'm male representing. That's no, I'm not representing. Sort of like showing or whatever you call it. I class myself as a male. So it's like I want to play as males. I don't feel as comfortable as playing with playing as a female for some reason. The connection's not quite there, and the voice, I've got a male voice, so it doesn't work when I talk. For let's plays kind of thing, it doesn't work if you're, it's like, oh, you're playing as a female, but you're talking as a male. I'm not really immersed in this one. So yeah, that kind of doesn't work for me. Whereas if I got a male, I can be a male, I can talk as the male, and it seems to work better as a video, as well as just the overall experience. I like it. Like even though in Starfield I've changed my gender, I'm still like I'm skipping all the quests and stuff just to get to the Unity so I can rechange myself. I know I can go to the enhanced, but it's like I I only reason why I decided to change the gender of the character It's because the animations are awful as the male. I know you could change the body types, but a male using um, the female animations just seems strange. It doesn't seem to work. Doesn't seem to feel right to me. Whereas using the male animations as a male, it's they just look rough. They don't look right. The male animations, whereas the female animations are much smoother with the guns. It just feels nicer. It looks smoother. So yeah, that's why I'm currently playing as a female. But as soon as I go through the Unity, I'm changing back to George Collins. Um, so it's like, yeah, that's sort of my 2 cents about Fable and what it means to me, and I hope that they have a player selection where you can select do you want to be male or female? Uh, or even, would be better if you could, choose how your character looked. That would be the natural evolution of the Fable experience, I feel, and it would be the correct way to do it. But if they don't, I would be really disappointed. The gameplay little things we saw look pretty cool. Even though when they're fighting like the troll kind of thing, it seems more like a cinematic kind of thing rather than taking part in it. Maybe you like slash it and that's like the killing kind of move you do, or it's literally like a cutscene. It's hard to gauge the gameplay from like the heavily cinematic kind of things. That makes me think that it's going to be a uh, a static player character because how it's so cinematic and how it's stuff. I know you can put like your custom playable characters and stuff in there in normal CGI and normal engine gameplay now, but just how they're presenting it is like I'm not too sure. It's kind of like no one's came out and says, yeah, you can, which would, funnily enough, make the game better and make me more excited. If they just goes, yeah, there's a character creator. Don't worry about it, guys. You can play who you want. You're the hero of this tale. It's you. You're the hero. But if they don't and they just keep it like this, I'm gonna be really disappointed. So yeah, that's my 2 cents from the story. I mean, from Fable and its sort of thing. I'm very worried about it. It looks amazing, and the gameplay, like throwing that arrow back at that dude, as well as the swords and the bow and arrow, the magic where you can lift them up and then shoot them individually. That's kind of cool. That looks cool, and I can't wait to see more. But if it's, I want to be me within this cool fantasy world. How the villages look very populated. There's people around, there's bars, there's admirers, there's haters, there's people who just want to jump in your breeches and stuff like that. It's it's cool looking. That's what I want. But also it's like I want to be able to play, you know, have a person I can project upon, a clean slate, a person who I created, like in Fable. And Fable, well, because I'm a bloke, it works in Fable. But in Fable 2, it also works because I can choose a male and stuff like that, and that works for me. It's like I said, I don't have any issues playing as women. It's just not as in, I can't project because there's there's kind of like, oh, if I use my voice whilst they're talking and stuff, it doesn't work because so it's not really good. I suppose I'm looking at it as the content creator kind of aspect. Like I'm a bloke who's voicing the lines of a clear woman, so it doesn't work, unfortunately. But yeah, that's just my concerns about it. Let me know what you think. But like visually, it looks phenomenal. I want to play this game, but they just need that little thing. Just tell me that I can play as a bloke, and I can have my own hero within this world. That's all I want. It's literally all I want. It's all I hope for. So hopefully you can. If you can't, I'll be really disappointed, and I honestly don't think I will play it. Unfortunately, I just can't. It doesn't work for me. Unfortunately, and it does look great, so I hope they do. Anyway, that's all from me. Please take care, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.